mean, as it sits right now, I mean, it's really just an invasive species as it is. You know,
That's
this,
there now,
yeah,
right.
this would be
I-
actually something that could, you know, possibly provide, you know, beneficial towards, you know,
Yeah,
a
I
lot
think the
of,
aesthetics, long-term,
Yeah.
would be a benefit to the park.
yeah, I agree, I really do.
And like I say, the only thing we're gonna get out of it basically is, hopefully some positive PR, because we're all, even though we have a fairly significant membership, but we've got about 12 doers.
I know how that goes. Doug, how far back to, like, would that be railroad bed property? How far?
I think we own to the, past the top of the berm,
Oh,
because the
okay,
old
so-
A&A would be ours.
Oh, okay.
So,
Well, yeah, so we don't have a problem there. I mean, I don't.
Because
I
the
don't-
snowmobile trail goes right along,
Yeah. Which, you know, he's talking about just
just
planting,
below that.
yeah, just west of the berm.
Yeah,
But I think that the snowmobile trail actually goes through the park now, because I think Hillcrest blocked this end off
Oh, I think you're right.
with
Yeah.
a bunch of material, so it stopped them from going through.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I think they did that last 2 years.
Goes through the back,
Yeah.
back of the park.
and I can work, or we can work with Craig and determine where is the most sensible place to do it to get started, because we don't want to step on anybody's toes. We want to try to do it, you know, the best way to get some
Yeah.
positive PR
Yeah.
is do it right the first time.
Yeah. I mean, I don't see any negativity in it whatsoever. I mean, you can, on my behalf, but I think it'd be great.
If the snowmobile crossed over it, would it be?
Probably. There again, if we take the time to look and determine where the common trail is now, if Dean knows where it is, we
And I'm sure Folsom Dale
Yeah, stake the trails properly so
Right.
that it doesn't.
You could
I
work
suppose
with
we
it.
could even go as far as to put a, you know, orange vinyl fence up in the fall to have them avoid
Yeah,
that strip. That would probably be detrimental if we got a nice catch of seed this year and they got ran over, especially in some, you know, without any frost and so on. If it tore it off, it would make next year's appearance look pretty unfavorable.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say, we-
it
you know,
sounds
get
like a
with,
great idea.
yeah. You know, I'd say get with Craig and, you know, see how we can make this work. I think you got the blessing of the board. Absolutely.
Okay, good, thank you, appreciate it.
You're welcome. Enjoy Taco Tuesday.
Everybody have a great night.
Hey, you do the same. Thanks for coming.
Yeah. Streaming doesn't seem to be working. I don't know why.
Really?
It's got internet, it's got everything, but I just got a call, it says, we'll have to figure it out.
There is issues, I'll bring this up, there's a lot of people claiming that they have bad Verizon. I mean, is
Yeah.
there something we could do on our level?
I contacted Verizon already, and we called back from, it seems to be a lot up towards the school way, and I know the school doesn't have any
Really?
whatsoever. Not a good thing.
No.
But it seems to be up that direction, most of the complaints were, so. Yeah, I called Verizon, I'm waiting for a call back.
There's been issues in Warsaw and Attica, because I know the Excel Wireless there in Warsaw, the girl that owns that, has been trying to figure out what the problem is.
Well, I mean, you know what's weird is I don't lose reception until I get out of Attica. Like if I head that way on Clinton, head that way towards Darien, that way towards Batavia, that way towards Warsaw, I lose. And as soon as I hit the limits of Attica, for probably 5 miles. But in the village, I'm fine. But I see a lot of people complaining about it.
Friday, we were having problems getting hold of our officer on duty to go to a domestic, and I was trying to call him on a cell phone. And the call went to, I'm sorry, it cannot be completed as dial.
Where
And
were
I'm
you?
calling, I was at my house, and he was in our office.
And I have a ton of drop calls. I'd be talking to somebody and it just dies.
And that's what I told Verizon, I said, it's an emergency situation, for
Yeah.
police and fire.
Is
Okay.
it?
Yeah. I think I called them last week.
Maybe it's something we reach out to representatives on. If it's,
It's gotta be, I think it happened after that
AT&T
windstorm.
works.
That's when it happened bad. So I think something up there got turned or damaged or something. That's when everybody started.
which
noticing.
windstorm? Like,
The real big one about 2 weeks ago, maybe, or whatever it was.
yeah, I guess maybe, that's where I've seen the most, I guess.
2 weeks ago.
How about you? Barb, has it, well, you've been in Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it has been ongoing for quite some time, but yeah, I guess you're right, probably the last 2 weeks have been the worst that I've known.
Gary, you've had bad reception up there.
I've had no reception on my phone. Go to dial a number, at the top of the screen comes up red, and it says SOS on it.
Yeah, I get that.
So I make the call, I'll call anybody in my phone book, I'll call them, it'll start calling, nothing rings, and about a minute later, it'll be all like committed to. And it's been going on for 2 weeks.
This little baby works wonderful.
You still got
The old flip phone.
Is that when you put a quarter in?
Yeah, right. It works.
Well, no,
The string's still attached to the other phone.
Even the internet's been off, for a while. And we went down to Verizon, or Spectrum, my wife did. And he said, because I thought maybe it was my Wi-Fi signal or whatever, but it wasn't that. And their end result was there's got to be something wrong in the area, either in the tower or maybe a bird built a nest, and that we have something got turned, but it has been right, and it's still circling when I call. So something's not 100%. Oh, down here, I'm sure I've got everything.
You know, up at the school when I'm subbing up there, this phone here, I can reach out, and there's a lot of them with the other phone. Don't have any service at all. I mean, so I'm fortunate, I guess, at least this works.
It's honestly different equipment too. Some people have, like with my situation, I bought a router and a modem. Now, I'm no tech guru or anything like that, but I don't rent it from, I think Spectrum is what we have. So I bought it. It was like $125 each, $250, and ever since then, we've got great Wi-Fi and, you know,
Oh, the lady at Verizon or at Spectrum said the new phones that are just coming out have a satellite right in the phone, so you don't have to worry about, it picks it up automatically.
yeah, well, how's that working out for you? You know what I mean?
I don't have a new phone, so I just.
Oh, you don't?
But the
Well,
new
see,
one's
that's what I mean. Some of it might be equipment. I firmly believe that Verizon and all companies
Yeah.
get you to the point where you have to, upgrade your equipment. You know,
And the upgrade, it automatically does that on my phone, and the girl says, no, it doesn't.
do you shut your phone off and on? So that's another thing we
I
should
do
be
once in a
doing.
while. I do, if something goes haywire with it, I'll shut it off, let it rest for 10 minutes, turn it back on,
Yeah.
and usually it works. I've taken the chip out, and I was having problems, I took the chip out, but it's, powered the phone off, took the chip out, put the chip back in, powered up, I got one call. And the second call, did the same thing, the SOS, no service.
But also, if you have Spectrum internet, hardwired internet, make sure your phone's Wi-Fi calling is on, because that'll help you at least in your house.
Right.
Because they're not on, if you get a new phone, it's not on, you have to physically turn it on the phone.
Right. But the only thing I was concerned about is emergency. Something happened, if there's, Doug house is on fire, and I called the fire department, it didn't go through, I would feel real bad. Or anybody. I have to go over and knock on his door. But I mean, that's,
Gary, we have to park a police car at Doug's house tonight.
oh, the closest way.
The driveway's kind of small, but next door, there's nobody there until Friday.
I know I did receive a call from Sheriff Linder there. He is looking into the communications tower issue that we're having with regard to school and stuff. He really wasn't even aware of it again.
You've had a meeting, right?
April 26th, 1 o'clock, I'm meeting with Mr. Santoro, the SRO at the high school, and myself to discuss the issue.
Because there wasn't an issue unless they have a written response or written
Letter.
Tony needed a written letter, or else there wasn't an issue.
Okay. All right, so moving forward, I'll entertain a motion. The board approves the following transfers.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
Opposed? Recommended action, the following claims be approved and the clerk to draw the checks. Checks, number 9.
I move.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Well, brings us to the dog park, which I wanted to discuss, but Julie wound up giving us the information that we need to, in order to proceed and move forward with this. Did receive some things that I'll give to you, some bullet points that we sent to the DEC. Then, we'll work on this stuff moving forward. I think everything is kosher.
I do have some questions about
Sure.
the dog park.
Sure.
Who's going to monitor it? I mean,
Responsible human beings.
Okay. And where's the money coming from? Are you using the park funds, or is it private, or where's the money coming from?
It was fundraised.
So any fundraiser is going to cover the cost of taking care of the park?
Why would they take care of the park? It's just a
Not
fence.
the
that's
dog, the dog park.
Why would they do that?
Well, damage could happen to the fence, or, upkeep of inside mowing.
So when Hillcrest donated the money for our playground, did they take care of the playground?
No, but who's going to take care of the dog park once it's up in the sale?
It'll be village properties.
It would be paid. Just like with everything else that's down there, pavilions and such.
So the village taxpayers are going to have to pay the village workers to take care of that park, is that correct?
It's a fenced-in area. The only thing different it's going to be is it's fenced in. It'll probably have to be less, like mowed less now.
Okay. Now, I know you have your plot or your plans and everything. Has that been presented to either the zoning board or the planning or the village planning board for approval to build this fence?
I don't think, is that necessary?
I don't think so, not on village property.
What are your rules and regulations on your zoning laws for fence height and stuff?
6 foot in the rear yard. It's not gonna be 6 foot. I don't think.
Okay. And it's still not going to be presented to the planning board or anything?
I don't think it needs to be, no.
Well, you are building something.
Right, but it's on village.
We're putting up a fence. I mean,
Yeah, I know.
every fence we've put up, I don't think we've gone to the zoning or planning board for every fence
Like
we put up.
a homeowner.
Homeowner puts up a fence, they don't need to go to you.
Just got to get a permit.
They're supposed to. Okay. Right, and where are the roofs going to be posted outside of the dog
Oh, yeah,
fence?
just like every dog park.
All right, and who's going to monitor these dogs? I know you say that anybody that going in there, they're supposed to be vaccinated, have their rabies, and so forth and so forth. How are you monitoring that end of it?
Responsible adults, just like every other dog park, just like the playground. I mean, who
Right.
monitors the kids when they bring the kids down? Who monitors
Yeah,
the
but I'm
kids?
not asking you to give a kid a rabies shot.
They get to be
But
vaccinated just the same.
Dogs do need to be, have their rabies shots, need to see a vet. There are a lot of responsible people out there who do this.
Absolutely.
But then again, there are a lot of people out there who have no clue and could care less if their animals have shots.
Absolutely.
But it'd be the same as somebody walking their dog down the street. Who monitors that?
Right, on a leash, because there is a leash law. So, this is true, but they have to be on a leash. The dogs we're talking about are going to be able to go into this dog park, run around, intermingle with other dogs, other people. They're not on a leash. And these are just some questions I think you should
Yeah,
take.
I
into
respect. I
consider-
do. I
take
mean, I
into
have,
consider-
and it's not like this just happened overnight.
Right.
We've done our homework.
No,
We've
I
done
know,
our
you
research.
guys have
We've
been doing really
traveled
well.
to dog parks. We've
Bringing
talked to
it all
people.
together.
Yeah, I
And these
mean,
are just other questions that I
yeah, but
think
we've
that-
had these questions.
Yeah.
I think you've asked them already.
No, not all of them, I have a couple of new ones.
Okay.
Well, and I mean, as
Where
far
are they?
as if you're worried about somebody checking the dogs, we have a county dog control officer. You're welcome to ask her to come make frequent stops there. I mean, I'm sure they'd be happy to do that.
So you're gonna pay Cheryl extra for doing.
Well, we're not gonna pay her anything. She's a county employee. See, it's,
Okay.
her name's actually Justa.
Yeah,
Cheryl's just Attica
No.
Town dog numerator.
yeah. It's, they're going to be how many dogs are going to be allowed at one time in the dog park? Do you have a number on that?
I don't, did we
It's in
have,
the rules.
it's in the, yeah, it's in the rules, but
And
it's
it's gonna be
been,
different for the lot, obviously, there's gonna be less in the large dog park than there is in the small
yeah,
dog park.
goes off square
But
footage.
it was like something absurd that, I mean, when we did the math on it, I think it was over 200 dogs at one time allowed per square footage in the side of the fencing we had, which, let's be real, I mean,
Yeah.
is there really gonna be 200 dogs in the Attica dog park at one time? I
No.
mean, I don't think so.
What else in the park is this dog park going to be?
So it'd be the north side of the park when you're going into the entrance, the curve to the left there that is vacant and nothing else is there.
Past the ice skating rink? Or in that area?
Yes, past, beyond the stone. So it'd be the grass beyond the stone in that back left corner.
That's what the department's doing?
Yeah.
I had
Park.
previously wrote a letter to the board about this issue, and I know we have at least one new member. So I'd like to refresh the other folks' memory and illuminate her. And this is from 21.
Mhm. All right, so I'm just going to go down through it, just, all right. You know what, I'll even read it, and then I'll just, okay. I am concerned about the proposed dog park in the village. I feel that the village tax dollars and resources should be spent on needs, not wants. The money that is being put forth for this has been fundraised. It's just a fence going up with a sign on it, all right? The grass would have to get mowed, whether or not that fence is there or not. Moving on. Attica is a very rural community. As we all know, cows outnumber humans in Wyoming County. The concept of dog parks began in Berkeley, California in 1979 and was sparked by the lack of areas in urban settings for dogs to exercise. Attica is not an urban setting. That does not mean that there's not people that show an interest in dog parks, hence why dog parks keep popping up in quite a few places. Hang on, Lisa, let me just,
Well, I just have something with that point.
oh, okay.
We have a lot of people step forward that do live in the community, in the village specifically, that rent or live right down in the village that don't have a yard. So they have no place to let their dogs run. They physically have no place to let their dogs ever be off the leash if they stay in the village of Attica. So now they're taking their dogs outside of the village and going to East Aurora and things like that where their dogs can actually run and play. So, I mean, it's not that we don't need it in this area because we do if you live in the village.
Yeah.
If you live in Marysburg, maybe not. You have a big yard, but right in the village.
We live in a
there
village
isn't
with a
anymore.
leash law.
Correct.
All right. Problems of dog parks are well documented. Dog fights, dog bites, and the spreading of a number of diseases are a regular occurrence at dog parks. The same could be said for bars. Okay?
Yes, but things at bars don't linger in the soil for decades.
And linger in the soil. So this started
Carbo,
in,
heartworm.
this started in
etc.
1979, and there's still dog parks to this day. So if it was such a
Not
bad
in
idea,
Wyoming County, Genesee County.
and Arcade right now is in the process of putting one in themselves. So just because Wyoming County doesn't have one doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad idea.
Okay.
So moving forward.
It's, I got a little something too. Is I had a couple of lawyers that I was associated with when I was in corrections. They got their own practice now. And I had them research the dog parks and dog, bites and incidences that happen in parks. There was, I had the numbers, I got them at home, I didn't bring them today, I should have, but it's very small compared to all your other court cases It was very minute. It wasn't really a problem with a lawsuits or anything like that becoming dog fights or anything to do with dog parks. So that was very positive in my opinion.
And Knox Farms has done that for how many years? And I spoke to the lady that runs and organizes that, and she said there's never been any documented fightings or anything like that. And their dog park is huge. I mean, it's ginormous. And parvo comes from coyotes, so really, and all the other animals, so you could get that in your backyard by having a coyote back there.
And responsible dog owners have their dogs vaccinated for
Correct.
that on a yearly basis.
Correct.
So what we want to do here is we want to make sure that the dog park is going to be safe for everyone.
Absolutely.
Okay. And is there going to be an age requirement in order to enter this dog park? The only reason I asked is when my daughter was 2 years old, visiting a friend, had an Irish setter, dog loved kids, you know. Dog got bit by a bee, turned and nabbed my daughter. She had 275 stitches in her face when she was 2 years old.
Mhm.
Is there going to be an age limit?
Yes.
People going into this
Yes.
facility?
You have to be with a parent or guardian under the age, like 17 or something like that, I think it was. It's
We
not
actually
allowed.
even have a list of the rules.
I mean, it is on the rules, but you have to be with your parent or guardian, so.
We have the rules that were brought forth by our own insurance company, which I'll get to that in a second here, too. Is a taxpayer expected to foot the bill for predictable lawsuits? With the sign that's put up by the, through the direction of our insurance company and looked at by our attorney, it is your own personal responsibility. Is a taxpayer expected to pay for insurance and maintaining of this park? The insurance, we're already paying for it. It's included. It's not going to raise our insurance one dime. And if I'm not mistaken, we've looked into this. Maintenance of this park. The maintenance would be done by the humans that, if the dog defecates on the ground, they're to clean it up. Now, again, responsible adults. Do we have them all over the place? No. I mean, they're going all over the village. If anything, this might even help contain it. Maintenance of the dog park with regards to mowing, it's just a fence. So the only difference is going to be to mow it, which I'm not gonna say is a guarantee that it's gonna be mowed less, but it's a good possibility. But it has to get mowed regardless. It might take an extra 5 minutes to open up the gates, but that's it, Attica has a part-time dog control officer. Do we? No, we don't have a dog control.
Carol Clark,
She's a dog numerator.
It's for the town.
I believe her jacket says DCO.
Oh, okay. Who does her best to make sure that 860 dogs in the town and village are licensed and have rabies shots. She does an excellent job. She does. Okay. The DCO also TNVRs feral cats without any compensation. Our DCO is currently actively trying to capture an escaped monitor lizard. Okay, that was the lizard got captured.
Lizard got dead.
Yes.
It would be grossly unfair to add more duties at the dog park to the DCO's job without a substantial pay raise. I don't really know what she would have to do there. She has no duties for there. Therefore, we don't even have one. Is a taxpayer expected to foot this increased cost? There is none. A dog park will generate more police calls to resolve conflicts with both humans and dogs at the dog park. You know this is a fact. I don't think you do.
I have done a lot of research, Nathan, yes.
Okay, but it's also, I don't think it's a fact. Is there going to be an issue? Maybe there will. There may be an issue down at the gazebo. There may be an issue down at the basketball court. There may be an issue anywhere. Okay? We don't live in a perfect world, no. Is the taxpayer expected to fund the increase in police department man hours? There will be no added increase of man hours.
Well, that remains to be seen.
I don't think we're going to have to put another officer on. The officer will be on duty if he has to go down there for the park like they do on similar situations. such as at the playground or concerts. I mean, that's why we have a police force. Taxpayer money should be used judicially to benefit the community as a whole. Now, there's where I don't understand. This money was raised by people that want this. I've had dozens upon dozens of people. The Lions Club gave us $2,500. It's a very wonderful community group, community organization. Louis Lounge gave us a total of how many? How many dollars?
They put on that whole comedy show.
Yeah. Many businesses, personal, you name it, have put money into this and have want this to happen. Now, what I don't understand is, what is the big issue, okay? I don't understand why you guys are fighting this tooth and nail so bad for something that some people want. Just because you don't want it doesn't mean other people don't. And the fact of the matter of, you guys want to make sure you get your way for an area of probably you don't even step foot on. Don't go to the dog park then. But there are people that do want to. I'm not going to run through the splash pad, but I think it's the greatest thing we did for the community.
And that was spent with
Taxpayer
taxpayer
dollars.
money, and we didn't get a single complaint when it came to that.
I just want to make
That
sure
doesn't
that,
benefit the.
I think what you guys are hearing is nothing but negativity. And it is coming from certain people in a certain group that just doesn't want to see progress in this village, and it's quite disturbing.
Well, Nathan, I wrote that letter in 2021,
Mhm.
and this is the first response I've had to my concerns.
I think you went through this on the public hearing, yeah, because we went through all these points when we had the public hearing.
Okay, I wasn't.
We addressed every one of these.
Actually, I'll be honest with you, 110%. I will be honest with you, 110%. I was going to read that letter out, and I was told by a trustee not to read it.
Well, no one contacted me with any response.
I don't know if it offered a response. This was your
We
opinion.
have addressed everything in here to.
The
honestly,
end says
I mean,
tax, the end, you end it with taxpayer money should be used judicially to benefit the community as a whole, not spent on the wants and whims of a small group of dog park, of dog owners. Sincerely yours, Amy Blackmore. It does not say, please contact me. There is nothing here that says that we need to reach out to you. Now, I've seen you, quite a few times. We could have discussed this at any time. We had a public hearing. The Attic Action Committee had a public hearing at Louis Lounge. This has been nothing but transparency. There's nobody hiding anything. Again, it's just negativity, negativity, and negativity. And people want to move forward. People want change. Not everybody, no. But why is there no compromise? Why is this just...
I think the general public in Attica is mostly unaware of any of this.
I don't think
No,
that's
they're
true,
not.
because we had so many people down at Louise when we did the open forum. We had a ton of people down there. When we did the open thing here, this place was packed. I don't even think there was a place to sit when we did the open forum here.
And that was all pro.
It was pro and against. We had everybody up there.
I've done everything but fly a banner behind an airplane
We've
on
had
this
time-
issue
we've
for
had meetings
years. I've gone to the town board meetings, it's in the minutes. It has
My,
not been hidden from anybody.
my,
And you don't come to village board meetings either anymore.
Well, there's a reason for that.
Because it's at 6.
I just want to make sure everything, that you guys do is done in the interest for the village and the town people,
Barbara,
concerning
honest to God, as I
safety-
sit here, it
Yeah,
is.
safety and,
It is.
yeah.
Why would it not
Nobody-
be? Like, I guess I don't understand why anybody would think we were doing this as some horrific thing for the village. Like,
It's
we're-
not horrible.
I mean,
I'm
we're
not,
doing
we're
it
not
as-
saying it's horrible.
But this is how it's being portrayed.
Yeah.
And it's getting old.
We were trying to do something nice to bring something nice to the community that we don't have in the county, that a lot of people actually asked for and wanted this to be brought to the community. So we started it, and we started fundraising, and we had no idea how many people actually wanted this dog park, because we raised thousands of dollars in our first event. I mean, I think it was almost
During a global pandemic.
$48,000.
Nonprofit status when you began this.
Did it all through the
That's-
appropriate measures. Yes.
That's been gone over.
It's been gone over in New York State, and everybody is fully aware, and the money has been done all on the up and up.
How is this going to affect your life? Honestly, I just want you to think about this.
I've already seen a dog fight right in front of my shop with 2 small children, 2 dogs, and 2 adults.
So then should we just
Where
get rid
the
of
adult was
dogs?
bit and bleeding.
So then should we just get rid of dogs, period? What are you going to stop?
Them dogs were on a leash with their owners getting walked.
The 2 dogs were on a leash with their owners being walked. The other dog came out of a yard.
Okay.
And
We're just
What does that
gonna,
have
we're
to
just
do with
gonna, we're just gonna continue
He
to.
asked me what reasons I might have against this.
All right, let's
Seeing
just-
But that's gonna
children
continue to happen,
Getting
with
bit
or
by
without the dog.
dogs.
All right, all
Is
right,
a reason I don't want to see this.
all right.
Can I just
Yeah,
add this?
absolutely.
I was the deciding vote on the village board to allow this dog park to start. And the main reason in mine is, along with other things, I'd like to at least give it a chance to work, something new. I said, going back ways, the feral cat issue that was here back before, long before the dog park thing came up. And there was a lot of people, some of them on the board, that didn't want to do any feral cat thing. I made the motion there too also, to try it for 1 year, to see how it worked, and then look at it in a year to see if it was going to work right or not.
So are you saying you're putting a year timeline on the
I
dog park
didn't
as
make
well?
it, that wasn't part of the motion back when I was
We
deciding.
had to change a policy for that.
Yeah.
We don't have to change a policy for this, so there's no timeline, no.
The thing is I like to see, to try it and see if it works. If it don't work, and I think we even discussed it with the people that were,
They're full
about the
agreeance.
fence. If it doesn't work and we take the fence down, and then the fence becomes property of the village. But, I'd like to see some of these things, try it, see if it works. And if it don't work, well, then you got to look at it another way. But let's at least try it. That was my idea of my vote on both of those issues.
So we went out to Knox Farms. Just one day, I said, hop in a truck. Let's just go for a ride. I didn't, I don't push anybody in any direction. He was on the fence at the time. So we went to Knox Farms and just let him walk around. He basically just walked around by himself. So we met up with this young lady there that she had her dog. Hans asked her some questions. I think she was from Orchard Park or something?
Yeah.
You know, so he had mentioned that, we're talking about putting one here in Attica. Oh, that'd be great. She goes, I love traveling to different dog parks. So I'm going to stop it right there by saying something like that could potentially, we're a prison farm, or a prison village. Something like that could possibly, potentially bring other people into the village that might want to see, oh, wow, the Prospector has, good breakfast. The 10th hole golf course, Louis. See some of these places evolve, move forward. And things like that, tend to help do this. It might get her to come in here and maybe stop at a business, maybe drop her cans off, whatever. But if you just stay stagnant, what are we doing here? I personally want to see more stores, more businesses in this village. I want to see more things, and I want to see more things down at that park. When I was down there for the Easter egg hunt, it was fantastic. And then everybody left, cleaned up the straw, and I'm listening to some of these kids, and to me, it made me feel like I wish there was more eyes down here. So I just think it's a win-win, and I think all you guys with all this negativity against basically everything that we're going for, I don't get it. I don't get it. I wish we could all just work together, but it's just constant. And whatever. I've had enough. I just want this community to be better for everybody.
And I'd just like to say, I'm a dog owner. I have a yard, my dog. I will probably never use the dog park, because I have plenty of yard, but the outpouring of people that actually want it in this village has convinced me that it's something that we need. It'll be useful. I've seen a lot more people come to meetings and other events that are for it than are against it.
Hey, Rob Kuzmao called me the next day after the public hearing. He was on the fence. He calls me the next day. He goes, you know what? After the public hearing, I am for it. I think this would be a great thing for the community. Sharon By. I spent an hour and a half talking with Sharon By. At the end of it, she told me, just so you know, there's a petition going around, which that never came to fruition. Must be it didn't get enough signatures. I don't know. But she says, you know what? After listening to what you just said, I wish people would hear that. I said, Sharon, you should come to a board meeting. Call me. I'm on social media. I'm everywhere. Just get a hold of me. Talk to me. You know. But she said, after hearing that, I'm not going to sign a petition. So if people just open up their mind a little bit, quit with the negativity, maybe we can move forward. Everybody could. But that being said, if anybody has any more questions on the dog park, I'll take them. If not, we'll move forward. All right. Public safety.
I guess I do have, so,
Oh,
are we
good?
gonna get this bill?
Yes. Yes.
Good to go.
Yeah, we are good to go. We made the motion, and I mean, I'm sure all four of us right now, if we were put to bring it up for vote again, I can't answer for everybody, but I'm pretty sure we'd vote on the same thing again, unless that anybody's minds have changed. I can't speak on your behalf, but
I call him tomorrow.
what we need to do here, I'll
He's gotta-
give you this. We need to do this. We'll get with Doug. We need to do some of this stuff, the formalities.
That's fine, I just want to let him know, but I don't want to do it again and then,
How are the funds are available?
Well, they were until
they should be available.
we'll figure something out.
Is the bid for the fence and that, is that increased since?
Oh, yeah,
It's been 2 years.
2 years since we got it passed.
No, a year. It's been a year. 'Cause we
It's
got
been a
that,
while.
we got that letter March. We got that letter March 16th last year.
So,
Otherwise, it would have been in last year.
so, I mean, that's what I'm saying, I'll call him tomorrow and see, because I know originally he had extra funds that he had saved for us that was gonna cut the cost down considerably, because it was extra, which I'm assuming, last time I talked to him, that's gonna be available, so it may be.
Well, take this with you. This is the criteria we need to do in order to proceed. And then, speaking with Jeremy here, what is it you do?
Archaeology, cultural resources, things like that, but I do DC and state agencies and what, surveying, crime surveying, like that. So, when you have direct driven posts and whatever else, anything that's below the ground is not going to be disturbed, there's not going to be anything brought up. And so I think the DEC just needs to be aware that, the construction of this fence and actually, no vegetation will be changed, no trees will be trimmed, that could give.
These are some bullet points that Jeremy gave that to provide to the DEC.
I mean, at this point, I think we addressed every avenue that could possibly be addressed,
10 times.
at least. Every adverse effect that the dog park could have, so.
With the disturbance, like the planting of the trees twice, would have been way more.
Yeah.
That's going around.
Yeah.
Purposely. They actually for a gate, so the guy wouldn't have to do anything but. So this long, right enough.
No.
Everything is better. Any questions?
We're good. Hopefully. Thank you. And thank you for your questions. Again, I do understand your concerns. I have them too. We all do. But, I mean, we don't need to live in bubbles.
The protection of the village and the
Yeah.
town was my.
Yeah, which we've already, yeah. It's ours too. It's our job. Public safety.
We'd like you to go up by this thing though, because the comments we've had about the online stuff is.
I thought it's not even working.
Well, I think it might still be recording,
Oh.
but it might not be live streaming. So,
Like,
it's just I can't hear if you're back here. They can hear there fine, they can hear me, but they hear you fine.
Oh, yeah.
Hi.
Yeah.
Since the last time we met, we've had 307 complaints, 3 motor vehicle accidents, 3 domestics. We've issued 77 traffic tickets, 5 parking tickets. We're up on our DWI arrests. We've had an additional 2 more and 2 car seat checks. Officer Stephanie Engel has resigned effective April 20th due to the fact that with her daughter getting older, she doesn't have the time and she's looking to move her other career further up.
She's a correction officer.
A counselor, whatever they do.
She works at.
Yeah.
Oh.
Had a complaint of counterfeit money being tendered at Bangos. Assisted the Attica Fire Department with Key Bank. They had a burned out sump pump motor and filled the building with deodor and some smoke. Reservoir patrols we've issued 1 ticket, and we've got a complaint of a motorized boat without a permit. We've got the ID of the individual, and we'll be progressing with that.
Where's the boat? I mean, they can't do all that thing up and down. It's gotta be on, lives around there.
We've had 4 weather bulletins since the last time we met. I'm sure everybody's aware of the Opera House with the wind damage to the roof and the windows, and the sidewalk being closed. We've assisted Johnson County with a burglary at Sunnyside Cycle, where 5 brand new motorcycles were stolen. Our officer observed one of the suspect vehicles, but at the time we did not know that it had been burglarized. So with our assistance and the assistance of a couple businesses with video cameras, there's been 2 arrests, 2 motorcycles recovered, and the other suspect vehicle has been identified. The suspect, a couple years ago, we had the suspect in a high-speed chase ended up on Circle Drive. Recall that?
Yeah.
Okay. He's now currently wanted by 3 separate police agencies. Thank you, bail reform.
Yeah.
We've had
Is the investigation done on this, like,
on
this incident here?
Circle Drive?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
He was arrested and charged and given his paperwork and said, please come back to court.
I got an idea. Go ahead.
We've had, within a 3-week period, we had 3 motor vehicle accidents, hit and runs with public property damage. All 3 individuals have been identified and subsequently charged. One of them struck a fire hydrant, and the other one took out one of the bollards out at Market and Main. We hit it's called an unauthorized use of a motor vehicle other than a stolen vehicle from Upstate Dodge. And they contacted us. We did our investigation. Come to find out, the customer was arrested and put in the Erie County Holding Center. So we located the residents and notified Buffalo PD. They went and did a knock-knock and said, gotta go back. And the relative says, oh, okay. And they did bring it back. So we recovered the vehicle. And the friendly lane game's back in the area. The lane game, if you remember, was the pursuit with the crash in Alexander.
What, South Carolina or something?
Yeah. $40,000 of stolen and forged checks. So we've had a couple deaths at Gateway House. Mr. Atone and Mr. Nichols passed away. With Officer Ingalls resigning, we've got 1 car seat tech left. Plus, we have Ann Lapp from the fire department. Ann's not interested in renewing her certification. So what, and a lot of several other agencies have done, we're going to transition our car seat program over to the health department, the Warren County Health Department. And if they have an event and if they'll notify us if it's in the area or if they need help, and we'll let our technician go and assist. And then if we need an event, we'll call them. They'll come and set up an event here. And then we can refer anybody that needs a car seat to the health department.
How well attended are they?
I'm sorry?
How well attended are they?
Pretty good. We get the advertising out. I mean, we get like 3 or 4. I mean, it's nothing earth-shattering. I know when we were doing Founders Day, we set up down there for Founders Day, and they got a couple down there. So with the car seats we have in our possession right now, I'll be reaching out to the health department and to City of Batavia Fire Department and be releasing the car seats we have left to them. So because believe it or not, car seats do expire, and if they're expired, you can't legally have them in your vehicle, and we can't legally install them. So I'd rather get them out to those two agencies rather than expire, and then we have to throw them out, and they're brand new. They've never been used, they're brand new car seats. Other than that, any questions?
Yeah. Signs in the park.
What do you mean?
I know. We've been battling back and forth trying to find the guy that does the signs for DPW apparently can't get them small enough because I don't want nothing huge.
Right.
So I'm thinking of maybe reaching out to the Genesee County Highway Department sign shop.
They made the ones
Yeah,
for school.
Yeah.
Nice.
Can we do that? So for the,
You know,
I'd like to
get them where
like
they're
to-
noticeable, but not up in your face.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. Can
So
we do that here?
Yeah.
Because I'd like to get them down to, there's a lot of people that don't know phone number. I know 911, but.
yeah, we'll get on top of that. We'll get it done. Anything else, gentlemen, ladies?
Be good for tomorrow. Presents.
Yes. They had an incident at the school. It was the 12-year-old made a verbal threat or made a verbal, I don't know what you want to call it. They looked into it. They determined rather quickly that it was a non-credible threat, but they are working with that student. He's been suspended. I got called to the house after he got suspended because he was acting out. They just moved into the village. The individual does have some developmental issues, and that we're working with the parents, and that for counseling and or other, she's trying to set up stuff since they just got into the village. It's going to take a little bit of time to get those services in place. But I've got all the information, and yeah, we're going to work with the school. We're going to put not an extra patrol, but we're going to have more of a presence around schools tomorrow just to alleviate any fears.
So this kind of cements the deal here about why I want to get this active shooter thing here.
Mhm.
How far are we on this? Okay.
I want to get it right. I don't want
I
to
know,
mess it up.
I really, I mean,
And
look what just
it
happened
seems
now.
like, yeah, okay, yeah, we're going to create a plan and this is what we're going to do, but it's not as easy as you think. There's a lot of aspects you got to pull into it. And again, I don't want to make it so overwhelming and so confusing.
No,
I just want to,
I'd like it simplified too.
Yeah.
You know, broke down into zones as we discussed and, yeah.
and where's the mayor's house? That'll be zone 1.
Zone 1.
On the resource officer for Prospect School, is there any more development on that?
I haven't heard anything.
No, because I know there was a question here back a while ago.
Yeah, I think
you
that's,
was the
they were looking
superintendent.
into it through.
I think that's all in the school.
Yeah.
The Wyoming County.
Because I know the grant for Sam is up this year, I think, or next year.
I mean, as far as I know, they plan on.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna, wanted to get one for Prospect as well.
Elementary, yeah.
I know the superintendent of schools was talking about that, right?
You'd like to put one in both Prospect and.
The middle and high.
Because he had brought it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And, you know,
he'd like to, but, I mean, I'm sure it all comes down to
Funding, yeah.
I
Which they can apply for a grant. They can sign up and apply for a grant, and I believe it pays for the first 2 or 3 years of the officer being there. But they would have to be the lead agency, and they would have to apply for the grant to fund it. But you're right. It is that's our weakest link right now.
We'll have to get a hold.
Uh-oh. Sorry for the extra work.
I just want, because, you know, I'd rather see the county with a deputy, if there's gonna be somebody there, I'd rather see the county have another deputy rather than us from our force. But if worse comes to worst, I guess we, you know, right now, our force would be the first to respond
Mhm.
because we're probably closer than our resource officer at the high school by the time he gets to his office and gets in the car and gets down here. But I just kind of like to see that the deputy, maybe through the county, is the shot at putting if they go another officer.
Right.
To put a deputy there, and if worse come to worse, if that wasn't possible, then the village would have to go wrong with it. But I understand we would have too much out of the year that we would pay and have them on our force.
Yeah, it's not gonna work.
Because
That would
it's
not work.
very
It's gotta be the
costly.
sheriff's.
And we did kind of discuss, I mean, that last month or the month before, where probably not something that PD wants.
I don't really want to do it. It's a scheduling nightmare, especially if they decide they become ill or they want to take days off. Now we got to backfill it with our limited manpower. And plus, if we did it, we'd have to hire another officer.
Yeah. But we were fortunate to be able to have the placements that we got.
Mhm.
I was surprised.
It's
as a
not
matter of
getting
fact.
any better.
No, it's not. Worse at PD right now, that's where he needs at least 3 part-time officers. And he's covering all the school buildings in the village and Wyoming, correct? Or Wyoming Central for SROs. Plus trying to maintain his manpower for the patrol.
But now, how are we with part-time after?
She didn't work anyway.
Well, I know there was very few hours there, but
I mean, we don't need,
we won't be hurt.
The only problem we have right now is Officer Rogue was off. He had a family emergency. He had to leave state by short notice last night. So we're covering his 2 night shifts right now. I really don't have a relief officer for the night shift. I rely on 2 guys. But that's something we're gonna work through. I'm gonna have to hire some overtime just to cover those 2 shifts. And then, because if anytime the night officer wants to take off, it's a bear trying to find somebody to cover that shift.
What about you?
No comment.
No comment.
We'll just leave it as that.
I just heard Perry's gonna hire an additional full-timer, basically, pay with a part-time.
We talked about that a while ago. I don't think it was cost effective.
But the academy just started in Batavia, and they have 12.
Yeah.
Harry?
No, in the academy,
Total.
period.
That's like
Oh,
the smallest
gotcha.
class they've
Yeah.
had in years.
Let's get that way with all law enforcement corrections.
Mhm.
Can't find people to.
No.
Hats off to you guys. I don't know if I'd start a career in this.
No comment.
Keep the old timers going.
Yeah. Just prop us up. Thank you.
All right, Chief, you're up.
I hope so.
Since March 21st, last time we were here, we had 7 fire calls. 2 of them were mutual aid. 4 of the calls were in the village. 1 was in the town. And we only had 17 ambulance calls for a change, so that's getting a little bit better. We did have a problem with a fire alarm at the Dollar General store in the middle of the night. Ended up having the village police officer came down, he made some phone calls, had Genesee County go to the manager's house, had her come down just so he could get in, reset it. And she was supposed to come up to the PD and give you a bunch of phone numbers. She was supposed to go up to the village PD and give the PD a bunch of the phone numbers for other people who have keys to get into the place. You know, when officer was trying to Genesee County, they said, oh, just break the door in. I said,
Don't we have keys to all these places? We don't there.
no. Well, we mentioned getting a Knox box, which is a box outside with a key, with us having the key to the PD so we could get in, at least in there. She didn't want to do that, and she didn't like here in Winchester County said, oh, just break the door in, which we weren't going to do anyway, you know, because I wasn't going to stand there all night, guard the door till somebody fixed it. We had all the ladders tested between the two prisons, Attica and Varysburg. It cuts the price down because they only have to come to one spot, so everything passed okay. I don't have the exact date, but in June, the Wyoming Fire Department, Wyoming Hook and Ladder, is going to be sponsoring that Back to the Blue ride. Is that motorcycle car ride that goes all over the place? And Nate Coffee got it, so they're having it in Wyoming this year. So that's going to be quite a little fundraiser for them. And don't have the route yet, or if we're going to be involved, I'm sure.
Yeah, they don't put the route up until it gets closer to it,
Yeah.
just because of,
But, you know, it's sort of nice that, you know, I know the Winter Alexander had it, and this year Wyoming's
Yep.
having it, so it'll be sort of interesting. And I haven't heard anything more. Have you heard anything more from the attorney down in Syracuse?
No, we do.
Okay,
In Arcade, you mean?
okay, because we got another bill of loss. We're not,
Just collect them,
we are, putting them in the stack.
put them in the round file.
So, and we had another get-together with one of the builders on the fire trucks, getting some ideas on two different style trucks. The one style was over $600,000, which was the cheaper one. The other one was over $900,000. So we're working on that. We're making progress.
okay.
None of that. That's about it.
I hate to put you on the spot, but do you know if Tony contacted Mrs. Redding at all?
I believe so.
Oh, he did, okay.
Yeah, I believe he did.
Just so you know, Mrs. Redding, she owns property on Dunbar. She actually would donate land to the fire department if they want it. Right across the entrance, across from the entrance to the land correction facility, that field there. She owns it.
Wow.
She would like to donate it to the fire department, some of it, to build a new fire hall or whatever. I gave it to Jay gave it to Tony, who was in charge of that. And
Yeah, I
I'm
don't
hoping
have
that
nothing
he
to do
reached
with
out
that.
to her.
Yeah, it was Gene Redding's wife.
Oh, yeah, right here.
Yeah,
Okay.
so,
Huh.
let's move on somewhere, I don't know, I'm not involved in that, so. Ready?
Questions for Pete?
Thank you.
Thank you. So, yeah.
All I got is basically the water plant. We had a meeting at the beginning of the month. They got some of the drawings of the new plant started. We're supposed to have all the drawings by the end of the month, here, beginning of next month, and submitted to the health department, the new water plant project. It's going good. Starting to get the exciting part of it, seeing stuff on paper. Matt's, our engineer firm's done very well. He's actually shrunk a couple of things, saved some money for the village.
We did apply for the fluoride grant. I sent all the paperwork and I think I had you sign it.
Yep.
Yeah,
But I sent that in and that could be up to,
250,000, right?
yeah, it could be up to 250,000.
So that would take care of every bit of our fluoride install of the.
Awesome.
There's a lot of good stuff going on there.
That's huge.
So other than that, we're just keep on chugging along and what's going up there. We're about 90% moved up to the barn now. I want to talk to you about Time Warner. Because we discussed at a payroll meeting, the heat cool two places. We're going to kind of like mothball the old lab, so we'll be ready for when it demolished the.
They've actually decreased the footprint in the front of it. It was going to go out about 30 feet.
30 to 40 feet.
Now
We
they're
did
looking
it
at
10.
maybe 10.
So
And they can still fit everything in.
Oh, wow.
That's going to be a big city.
Significant, yeah.
So that 11
probably-
million might come down a little bit.
That should under, I think, and so the grant was huge that we got, and the jail company. Be really good for the taxpayer.
Yep, absolutely. Good.
Yeah, Matt's been doing good working with Matt
Oh, yeah.
Higgins on it. A little boring for me at these meetings. I have no idea what they're talking about sometimes when they get into that technical stuff,
Yeah.
but the pictures look good.
Yeah, hopefully here coming soon here, starting June, I'll be able to work, so.
Yeah, it's
Maybe
always the
like
second
10
Tuesday of every month.
10 o'clock.
10 o'clock.
Tuesday?
Yep, it's a Tuesday up at the water plant.
Fridays.
Tuesdays.
It was Fridays, but they moved them to Tuesday. We've had probably 10. No, we've had probably 12 of them now. It's Tuesday.
I'll be working Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Monday, Friday. Yeah, we'll see what it is. Yeah.
And
So at the
anyone-
minutes,
any of the
I
board
mean, I
members
get the
that wanna
minutes,
come-
I see the minutes, which, you know, everything is laid out.
Yeah. We did some more testing with Kathy on Monday. They're really, some of the money that we saved in one spot, we might put to other places, so we don't have to worry about any of our stuff for a long time.
I got a call from Kathy today about the easement. Or how I talked to Matt about the easements. I said, Matt, take care of it. Call the lady, right? Kathy called me and said, so, how you making out with the easement? Wasn't listening very. That's what you're doing. Oh, okay. But we're trying to get easements for power.
Oh, down below.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that should be probably this summer they'll be.
Sounded like it was gonna be them though too, because they wanted a new pole or something.
Flynn's gave me the okay. Pat Flynn owns the house on Dunbar down by us,
Yep.
and they gave us the okay to put a pole in his yard, so they take the power out of the woods where
Yep.
all the trees
Yeah.
fall on it.
Yep.
So it was a plus for him.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, any questions for Matt? Hans, you got anything for?
Yeah, I met with Craig. Pickup brush is going. I don't think they're completely done yet. There was a lot of it.
One more day, I think.
Yeah, but they figured that sometime tomorrow it'll be done. Bathrooms in the park are open, but not the splash pad area, just the main
Yeah.
bathrooms.
Snowing.
Yeah, but they are open.
Yeah.
They've done some cleanup and got a lot of that done here of recent. Haven't had that much they had to do up until recently here, which they're busy pickup. The plow, the wing, the plow taken out of Hillcrest, they have to do some work on that, coat it or something. That
Sandblasted.
yeah, they did that to the front last year and the wing. But the big front to be there, okay, just a wing this year. And Hillcrest didn't charge us anything last year. Hopefully it'll be the same this year. But they're going to have to go up there and deliver it. I don't think they'll need it anymore. Hopefully they don't for now this year. New loader, working well. A little more getting used to that grab thing, I guess. Scuffed a couple lawns in new to them, so we'll have to repair them. Other than that, it went well. The old loader apparently got a low bid, about 25, and with the trade-in would have been 30.
Right.
So I guess we're going to try it for another.
We had to counter, as part of our agreement with Auctions International, we had to give them a counter, so I countered at 31,000. We haven't heard back from them yet. They've accepted it. If they didn't, we're just getting rid of it for 30.
30. Yeah.
We got 30 guaranteed, so if we get 31, then
Yeah. That's pretty much it for DPW.
The only thing I have, I was gonna say a new business, but we can do it with the DPW, with the trees. So do we have to vote on those trees, or were those trees ordered? Do you know, Doug?
vote on which ones?
The trees for the, I guess, the prison farm?
Oh, it's already in the abstract, so we already approved it. But we don't have to vote on it.
Oh, I guess I didn't catch
It was
that.
under, I think it was $900.
Yeah,
So it was under the amount we could approve anyway, so we didn't need a resolution.
okay, that's why I didn't think so, but,
No, you're all set.
so if we could pick them up would you be able to pick them up like next week early?
I don't know when they're ready, but I'll find out.
Okay, beginning of the week would be the best. And the arborist told me the best way to go about doing it would be, if we're gonna put them on a trailer, which I'm guessing they're gonna pick them up on the trailer, lay them down, park them, you know, if it's gonna be overnight, wet the roots, and then lay a tarp over the top of them. And then bring them the next day if possible. I guess bare root, they really can't stay non-moist if it. So, but I know with the weather and, you know, their time frame.
We gotta pick up the ones for the Arbor Day thing. That's next Friday. But we have to get them anyway. I think we're getting them from Chickles. Anyway,
Okay,
so I'll find out.
Okay.
Actually,
Yeah, let me know.
speaking of trees, like last summer, Julie said homeowners that had trees cut down were gonna some type of survey to have wanted a new tree.
Yeah, I think the tree board is working on that. I think they're meeting, I think this week, because they gotta meet before Arbor Day, which is Friday. And that's probably something they're talking about, getting out to everybody. I think the program will work is if somebody wants a tree in the village property, then, and they want to pay for it, for instance, so you want a tree, then if it's approved by the board, basically, we go to the arborist and they say, yeah, you can put that tree there, it's a good tree for that location. And I think we'll install it, but the homeowner has to pay for it. I think that's how that works. I could be wrong, but they'll have a survey, sure, by next Friday. I don't know if they've met a whole lot since last time.
I don't know if you want to bring up that possible grant that we just.
Well, there's a couple different grants that we're going to be applying for. One is the round 16 continuation of the ones that we've gotten already. We've already got 2 of them, and that's up to, I think, 60,000, and that is for maintenance and purchasing. We'll probably use most of it for maintenance, trimming dead wood, things like that. But then there's another one that came out, just recently announced, very short time frame to apply, and we're already on top of it. But that is significantly more.
100,000?
At least
Yeah,
100.
minimum 100,000.
And we can use that for, I think, just about anything with trees. So that would be probably a lot of purchasing.
That's
Really,
spade.
and some equipment.
Yeah.
So,
And there were some trees that were marked, like last year, Bill, they never took them down, or they were gonna take those
well,
down?
the money ran out from the grant. So
Okay.
either we have to pay for it, which we budgeted $50,000 to do that. The grant was, I think, 50, took down a lot of the severe ones. We marked out a lot of them, but we couldn't get to all of them. Couldn't pay. That's what hopefully this maintenance thing.
Probably better to have some on hand to replace, because I know there's a lot of people up in arms about having the deforestation of the village, and we're not putting in many.
Well,
roads.
the only ones we cut down are dead trees.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
if they're not, you know. if
Mine
it's
wasn't that.
not- If it was marked by the arborist, there was something wrong with it. Was
Well,
yours marked?
they didn't cut the one in front of Moya.
Is that marked?
Yeah.
We have a whole chart downstairs that shows every single tree, the whole inventory of the village, that what severe, if it's severe, if it's good, if it's going to be going in the next few years. We got the chart down there. So we can look it up, whatever you're interested in.
No, I just was assuming I have a new tree by now.
Oh.
It's been a while.
Oh, call Julie. She's in charge of that.
Hopefully we get this grant, we get some trees, and they'll be a matured size, and
Yeah, we're going to get.
we can start plucking them in the ground, and then with this program up here, these will probably take, the ones we just got now, they'll probably take about 2-3 years, you know, to be fully, you know, matured enough to put them in a village tree. But if we continue to keep doing this, Drew and I spoke, I'd like to see about 200 trees up at the prison farm. They actually, Barb, you probably don't even. So working in conjunction with Wyoming Correctional, the horticulture teacher up there, actually Doug came up with the idea of, you know, let's have an area, we were talking about having it up at the reservoir. But it dawned on me one day at work, why don't we do it here? We're always trying to do things for the community. Jail, so it worked out good. We've got an amazing administration up there. So what we're doing is, I think, what was it, 60 trees that we already purchased, but they're very small. So it's going to take them quite some time to grow. And it's kind of surprising when they showed up that they look like this, but I think we got that through I don't remember where, but these next few trees, they're going to be much more mature, but they're going to take 2-3 years. So if we can do that in steps, what we could do is the prison will have a program where they can teach them how to, raise trees and what have you. And then when they're ready to come to the village, we go up and pluck, or they would take them on the ground, or else if we were able to purchase the spade, we'd be able to get them on the ground and then plant them throughout the village for years to come.
It's a street tree replacement program, which would work fantastic. And it might help us get the street trees down in the downtown area, whether they're in pots or hard to be in the ground because the water and sewer line, there's like no room.
The stone, I think,
But maybe some stone pots or something like that. It would be nice to have some trees down on the main market in exchange. Okay.
You're gonna do them downtown in pots. They are gonna have to be stored someplace in a dry area during the winter months. Because they're not under freeze, the roots will freeze because they're above ground. So you're gonna have to make sure you can store them someplace in a dry area. They can go doormat. They just need to be in a dry area. So,
we'll definitely figure something out when we cross that bridge. But this program, we're just starting to take off.
and planting trees is awesome.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that provides clean carbon into the air and cleans the.
And just color and beauty,
And I've seen a lot of, everybody who's lived here in Attica, I've seen a lot of trees cut down, old trees, all down Maple, and they replanted all those, and those are doing really well.
Yeah.
So, having that is a good program.
Yeah.
Awesome program.
Trees add a lot of aesthetics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They really do.
And you walk up East Main, you have those new trees there, and they all look nice.
Mm-hmm.
So they're doing well. They're not big, but they have grown in the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
And the ones that we plant are not going to be big.
Right.
Can't because the power companies got them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you didn't really think about that 100 years ago.
No.
So,
100 years ago, it was all natural. They just didn't cut them down.
Exactly.
They just built around what was there.
yeah, built the house.
Yeah. So,
All right, that's all I had on DPW. So liaison, we'll switch to you again.
Okay. Solar project on East Main Street is being started again, I guess, and they have some things they have to do in order to be ready to proceed, but it's smaller nature than what the original planners were, and the entrance to it is going to be off Maple rather than East Main. But other than that, they have to get their act in place.
they've done that. What they've done is, again, that Stevens Solar Project was sold to another outfit, Bellagio's, and they just needed to come down and make sure that the zoning permits were all signed and paid for. Their plats and plans had to be re-entered in because they've changed it. The solar project's going to be smaller than the original solar project, but they also had to sign paperwork that they were going to agree to accept all the rules and regulations that the first company has signed up, along with the disclosure and the bonds have to be paid to the town. And if something happens and the town has to go in there, they can use that bond to clean it up. It has gone in front of the Attica Planning Board. We had questions. I took it to the Wyoming County Planning Board, and they answered all my questions, so we were able to bring it back to the Attica Planning Board, and it was passed. And it was passed by the town board. So that project is in the works, and I think they said they may start this summer and putting that up. And again, it's a lot smaller than what it was. It's not coming in off from East Main, it's coming, they're gonna use the original road that the farmers use already on Maple to take it back where they're going to be. So, you know, maybe we'll get a solar project here after 3 years. Who knows? We'll see. But
And the other solar project on Exchange Street is still,
it's in the lawyer's
Set.
hands.
Yeah,
It's
it's,
still in the lawyer's hands.
yeah, and I guess they run out of money.
They did, and that solar project, you only have a year. You have a year's window when you apply for everything and everything is passed. You have a year from the time it's passed to get it up and running. Their year ends in August. So, you know, we're gonna keep an eye on it. If it doesn't go through in August, then they're gonna have to start all over again with their plans, fees, public hearings, taking it to the Wyoming County Planning Board, the whole works. They're gonna have to start all over again. Because I'm getting tired of playing around with these companies and extending 6 months, extending 3 months. Rules and regulations were written and approved. And we're gonna start following those rules and regulations. So, you know, either they start building, if they don't start building by August, then it's gonna be, everything will be voided and they're gonna start all over.
Another issue that LaBella was at the meeting last night, the town board meeting, and there's going to be a survey of interest in water supply and 4 other areas. You have a diagram here where the other 4 districts are. I guess this was originally discussed at a first meeting, I think, that maybe it would be better to go with plans for grants, anyhow, ability for grant money, better if you went bigger. And so they apparently decided that maybe they would look at Exchange Street. There's a couple other areas there that they're looking at, and they're going to send a survey to the residences, pretty much similar to the one that we had that went to the people on 98 in Dunbar. They voted last night to send these out to the, and it gives them a quarterly cost of what it might be, and see what the interest is there, if there is any interest or if there isn't in these other areas. These are 4 of the areas, right? And Gary, the one we already took care of. Are the other 4?
The original one, we're going from Dunbar, or from, well, by the prison area, we're going to look in there, go across a little bit, go in front. That line that goes, that feeds downtown, it's north and south. It's going to go from there, straight through the pump station and on the corner of Exchange and Dunbar, and go from Dunbar to 98, north of 98, well, wherever it comes in. The cemetery gets its water, but that's not from 98 to top of the hill coming down. I don't know where, Jeff Rowland, is he village water? No. No, so he would probably be, or not, Nadak. So he would be, Nadak is, I think, the last one.
Schultz, Louise, right across from her house would be the village.
And Reading has?
Reading does not, nobody has water past the cemetery.
Nobody at 98 has water.
Right.
In the village.
They would all be able to.
All right, so they all have the opportunity to receive water.
So yeah, there's altogether 5 different possibilities. One we already took care of, and then 4 are going to be sending this survey out. See how it comes back. Go from there, that project. the town will. Let's see. The town had some major repairs, some washouts and that they had to do recently that they've done. Registration for side-by-side vehicles seems to be a new classification coming up the state. Right now, apparently, they're running these side-by-sides with a farm plate. Stand was
They register them out of state. They register them in Pennsylvania. Or
Pennsylvania?
insurance, yeah.
okay, or farm. Apparently, they can
They
run on a
put a
farm
slow,
plate.
no, they put a
Slow
slow
moving
move
sign.
in, but that's illegal. Most of them,
30 miles.
30 miles an hour, I think, is slow move.
The insurance won't cover it if it doesn't have, or it's
I
not
mean, you can
registered.
insure, them. The insurance companies will insure anything. They're all insured, but it's, people want to.
See, I don't think they insure them in New York State.
Yeah,
Yeah,
mine's
you-
insured. Mine's
'Cause if
insured.
you get a-
I can go 100
How
miles
do
an
you
hour.
insure something that's not registered? Well, it has to be registered though, right?
No.
No, well, insure it, because you want to insure it, I mean, because when you're paying 20, you can spend up to 30,000 on a side-by-side now. You want insurance on it.
Oh, yeah.
And if your house burns down and you don't have insurance on it and it's insurable, they don't cover it. Your homeowners don't cover it, nothing. I learned the hard way. My son just got in a bad accident on one. Denver, and we thought the homeowners covered it.
Anyhow, that's in the process, I guess.
About time.
You're right.
So if they move forward with the registration, would that make it illegal for them to drive it on the road?
I think they'll still be under the same, they're
Like an ATV.
technically not supposed to drive them down the road.
Because they don't have blinkers or anything.
Some of them do.
Yeah, you can attach them.
I belong to a forum online with it. I'm trying to get one ready. What they're trying to do is you got to DOT tires, you got to have wiper blade. It's got to be exactly like a car. It's got to be inspected. New York State says it's not quite there. Tennessee, Kentucky, a lot of the southern states are calling. Once New York State finds out there's a ton of money,
Oh, yeah.
they'll do it. You'll be seeing them on the road within probably 5 years.
Which is shocking, the number sold every year between homeowner farmers. Why New York has waited this long. Because the problem is the weight limit. ATVs, anything above 1,000 pounds, you can't register. ATVs have always been under. There's no classification for side-by-sides. Because ATVs, you can register them, but you
Yeah.
still can't drive them down on the road.
April 22nd, drug take back. Attica and Warsaw are going to have that from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Yep.
Throw it on your
April
Facebook
22nd.
post.
You should throw it on yours.
Yeah.
Well, it was brought up somebody brought it up at the town meeting. That you take your drugs also to the drugstore and they'll take them.
I think you can take them to the police shop at any time, can't you?
Yeah.
Or
We accept all medications and sharps. The pharmacies will not accept the sharps. And whatever sharps the Attic Pharmacy collects, they call us, we collect them, and then we dispose of them through our program with Erie County.
And school reception, two-way, we've already talked about that. That was discussed at the town meeting. Hospital, Wyoming County is not great, but it's doing better. What's reported.
See, last year, this time, they were down 7 million. What's better, down 6 million?
Well, 6.5.
They're making money.
He said it's not good, but it's better than it was.
Well,
They hired-
a new doctor, hopefully.
Yeah, they hired a new doctor.
A retired doctor that's not working.
Or administrator, right? And I think they're still waiting on
They're
some
waiting on
funding,
a financial.
which Congressman Tenney was going, waiting on a lot of
Well, they're
money.
being sued for.
I was going to bring that part up.
Yeah. Okay. The county is looking at hiring manager,
County manager.
county manager, yeah.
Just for the county, not the hospital.
Right,
Our
for the county,
county,
yeah,
Way overdue,
yeah, I think so.
about 20 years overdue.
Somebody that knows what they're doing. Spectrum, as far as their thing is, we discussed that here earlier, and that they brought it up, but about the same as it has been as far as and what's going on. Schumer, of course, was here for rail safety.
Yeah, can we look into their office to let them know that we should probably be notified?
Yeah, it'd be nice if we would have found out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I found out on Facebook.
I think
After
I
the
read- I think I
fact.
read in the paper like 2 days later or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you'd let. Right, whatever. Go ahead.
And we already talked about the water line survey being sent out for that. That was pretty much, anything else, Gary?
Yeah, this bank stabilization behind Attica Furniture going north into the village. They're going to do some work on that creek, kind of straighten it out, I believe from what I read. And just behind, or just past the furniture store, to the Berman, for the overflow. So if the creek is really high, we're not gonna get all the water down here. It's gonna go in the overflow and eventually go back in the stream. That's the proposal.
Who's proposing that? Who's the one doing it? Who's the organization that's going to do it? Is it?
There's a company, I don't.
Because we should see the planning board should too, but we should see the engineering specs for that and the height, the flow.
Yeah.
Because that could really advert. We need to be, we need to know about that.
Talk about you're gonna add more flow to the village, opens that up there, but yeah, what Doug's saying, it adds more flow for us.
A lot quicker.
Then I'm not 100% sure. It makes sense that if they open it up straight, it's gonna go faster. But I think there is a section in there where if the water gets so high, instead of going downstream, it will go to the left behind and be in a lagoon. Until such time it goes back into the creek. I think that's what they're planning on, stopping the flow, straight flow into the village, rather than the way it is now. It just goes over the land and it's still gone. There's nothing to hold it back then.
They still, whenever they do any work, they still have to do a floodplain permit, which would be with you guys.
Right.
But they still have to have an engineering study. That's what we'd like to see, that engineering study.
Right, I'll see. I had some paperwork, the scope of the project and what they were going to do. Tammy's open up, I'll see if I can for you and do.
Thanks.
But yeah, you would think that if you open up something wide, you can no water, but the EC was involved in something else.
Well, it has to be the Army Corps, I would think.
No, I think you're right.
It usually has to be the Army
Right.
Corps. Because the hydrology study would have to be done.
Right, I mean, we had it done 20 years ago, about 15 years ago, they were gonna do it. We had X amount of money set aside for that, with everything we had, and they came up with $2 billion more than what we agreed on because of this and that. We said we can't afford it. Money's not there, so 15 years later, we're gonna try to get that flooding that's behind the furniture store and that one farm.
Foster.
So that'll be hopefully this summer, I think. Hopefully again this summer before they start that. We'll find out again. I'll bring that, see if I can
Thank
find
you.
that stuff for you.
Thanks.
And new pickup trucks on order.
Yeah.
They'll be here in a couple of weeks, they said. Well, hopefully we'll have it by Christmas. No guarantee. It's 1986.
Probably your best running truck then, if it is.
It's not an electrical.
Yeah.
It's gas. And we're gonna be looking in the next year ordering with it. because once we have the 08 is kind of weak. Got a ton of miles, 350,000 on it. But the other case, God, even the box, but the new one we got now has got aluminum body on it. Don't body, but the frame and everything underneath, you know.
Yeah.
All you do is save the box, which is not cheap today, but there's nothing like it. And it's gonna be, we're hoping.
You better get it soon.
Our president won't be, neither will our governor.
All right, is that it?
That was it.
Anything for liaisons? Nobody here for the planning board. Do you want to say anything?
Across from my house, somebody has put in sheds in there. I don't know if the sheds goes with the Agway building, which is registered as a business, or if the sheds goes to the private owner, it's not registered business, but is residential. I just,
So I know the answer to that, actually.
yeah, but
The owner had the new roof put on. I don't know if you noticed that metal roof. Did the Amish come put a new metal roof on it? And apparently, they had asked if they could put those sheds there to be sold as like an advertisement.
so the Agway owner, John, gave him permission.
Correct.
Okay.
From what I understand.
Okay.
Through
that-
third
that-
party, though.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. Okay.
You know what's crazy about it? There's no sign on them.
Right. There is now.
Oh, there is now?
There's a small sign with a phone number on it
Oh,
now
okay,
that you can call.
Two of them.
For free.
Yeah, I could use one.
Back off, I saw him first.
Yeah. Get one. All right, then Doug?
Bank reconciliation report you guys got? Any questions on that? The assessor's report, I think I handed out. Treasurer's report, if you have any questions on that. And the adjuster's report I handed out also. Just need that back.
Yep.
Tom Kelsey was here, so I'm gonna worry about that. I also gave you a notice that we did receive the DEC award for non-point source planning grant of $10,800.
Yep,
That's for
awesome.
green space on Prospect Street.
Yep.
So grants are just rolling in.
Keep them coming.
And also, we've been talking with a solar company also, but every time I give him an area that he should look at, he comes back with another area that I didn't tell him. He goes, how about the sewer plant? All that green space you have inside the sewer plant. We put panels there. I don't want panels in the sewer plant. Plus, it's the lowest spot in the village. They flood anyways.
Yeah.
But, so I keep telling him no, but I want to let you know. Still trying to find a spot, but like the one spot up by Sokol that we own,
Yeah.
I thought that would be a great solar farm. Because, well, we'd have to clear it. We don't want to clear it. Really? How much would it cost them to clear it?
They definitely want to make the spot.
Yeah. So they're trying to find, they wanted to put it in the park, actually right where the dog park is. But no, can't. There was one other spot they wanted, like in the middle of the village. So I said, no, we put it there. So.
What about the roof on the
Actually, that's why I called him about the roofs. And he keeps coming back with sewer plant and park.
So he wants
Massive area.
ground
Correct.
solar,
Did we bring that?
yeah.
I don't have a whole lot, I gave him the spaces I have. But I'm still trying to get the roof one. Yeah.
It makes no sense if they don't utilize.
We're gonna do the water plant, we're gonna get them, so. That's it for me.
The trestle, obviously, Chuck Schumer shows up. I see that you must have sent a very good letter because they were there not even a week later.
Yeah.
And then a week later after that, Chuck Schumer's here. So are we, is there still like more contact about this trestle?
Well,
If we could reach out maybe to
yeah.
Senator Schumer's office and so that we could be in the loop here.
Yeah, I don't know anything about what his visit was about.
Yeah.
But obviously, it's a problem getting up that hill, which, back it up to the trestle. But, that's one issue. The other is the hole in the wall.
That was the other question.
We're addressing that. I mean, we had great news on that. It was passed by the Department of Homeland Security. They accepted our application. So they forwarded it to FEMA, I think 2 weeks ago, it was. I think I sent you the thing.
Yep.
And now FEMA has to act on it, which normally is a good sign. So, and then we talked to the
Congresswoman Tenney.
Yep. And
try to fast
they've
track
already
it.
reached out to me. I've already sent them all the information they need, so they're gonna try to push FEMA to get it going faster.
Yeah, he seemed like he'd be able to help out.
George, I think his name.
Yeah, George McCurney. Yep.
One thing I did notice about the trestle, since they put the new railroad ties on it, the trains are going considerably faster.
Is that a policing issue?
Well, village ordinance says 40 miles an hour. Yeah,
Not fast. Wow.
but they're still,
I think they're faster than that.
I agree that they are going faster, and specifically at night.
yeah.
And I've lived there 18 years, and things don't move off my shelf. Things are creeping toward the front now.
Yeah.
We see how fast they're going.
I'm gonna,
Lock 'em.
I'm gonna set up, we've got that Black Cat radar.
Oh, yeah,
detecting
that's
unit.
right.
Yeah.
I've been looking, I haven't found a good spot for it, because if I put it on railroad property, they could remove it, we'll never see it again. I'm trying to find a good spot to attach it to a pole to start reading the speed of the trains. Just, if nothing, we got documented record.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, that was good news about the hole in the wall, too.
Yeah. Get that fast track.
Also, I'm looking at a grant for the elevator for this building. I think we talked about that several times, but the grant proposal will probably have to be in by like middle of June. And we paid for the guy to come out and do the assessment of the
Yeah.
property and the estimate. Just take a wild guess how much it's gonna cost. Now, it's gonna have to come up, penetrate the floor, everything's gonna have to be redone, all the stuff that's there have to be removed, but
That was coming through the office of the clerk, right?
yeah, or the end of the town clerk, town court clerk.
I forget the number, but. I
It won't be
remember it was-
much, but the new number,
250.
close,
Are you kidding?
325,000. But it can be 100% funded. So that's what we're gonna try for. Even though we got about 30,000 saved. I thought we were doing good with 30,000, but yeah, it's the estimate, 300 some thousand. Yeah. That also includes all the permits and
Well, then call Chuck Schumer, he come down and get his picture taken.
So the grant is for 100% funding for projects, and usually with ADA, they're
Yeah.
accessible. We'll give it a shot.
I have one,
Yeah,
on
go
the
ahead.
assessor's report,
Yeah,
I see she asked a question about, let me know the board's thoughts on a reassessment project.
that'd be for the town.
Yeah.
Oh, that's,
I guess
That's-
we're at
she's heard.
86%, so they're gonna be going up through another assessment, bumping them to 100, which is what New York State requested, so assessments are gonna be going up.
The problem when how the houses have sold for so much and they're assessed for a lot less than that, then the equalization rate changes.
no, I get that. I'm just, they reassessed everybody like a
So
year
now,
ago.
it sounds like with that letter,
They're gonna go do it again.
they're gonna do it again because a house is sold for more money. Well, that's not,
Well,
you gotta take the
raise
interest
their
rates into
assessments, but not everybody else's.
account. It's gotta be,
Because until I sell my house, don't raise my assessment. I know that's not how it works, but that's the way it should work.
I would recommend anybody that gets their assessment raised to go to
Appeal
the
it.
assessment grievance process.
Yeah.
Worked for me last time, so. Actually, I heard everybody that went got it. Right, Jay?
Want to go for
Well, it's
Well, you gotta do
just,
your homework. You gotta do your homework.
it's just ridiculous to raise assessments every couple of years.
Well, this is a New York State thing. We've been below assessed values for quite some time. A lot of areas in New York State have. So what New York State is pushing all the assessors to do is reach 100% in all these municipalities. It's just more tax revenue for state.
It's hard to be at 100% equalization all the time.
Right.
It's hard. And it's probably a tough job on the assessor to do all that.
Yeah.
But, you know, I think you gotta take things like interest rates into account. You can't just, interest rates were very low when these houses were selling for so much money. Well, what happens now when they're 7%? They're not selling as much, you know? But they'll catch up with that a few years from now, after they've raised our assessments.
Wonder why everybody-
Yeah. Again, if you raise your assessment, if your assessments get raised, as long as the local municipality lowers the tax rate, which is what we've always tried to do, then it's not really an issue. You paid $1,000 last year, you're gonna pay $1,000 this year, because the tax rate went down. Some municipalities, county, they don't do that. It's a windfall for them.
So the other thing I have for you is Congressman Tenney, Senator Borrello, and David DiPietro would like to set up, they're starting to set up like satellite offices where they could come out, like say, like every 2 weeks, maybe go to Warsaw, go to Perry, so on and so forth, but they'd like to set up somewhere here in our hall. It'd be a little difficult, but how about that office that's behind you? They just need a desk, a chair, and another chair for somebody to come in if they have any questions. They would only be here for a short period of time, but
From August, they can go in the back where the town clerk is.
yeah. It's August already? Is that what? I never heard a time
Guys are
frame.
done?
We're not 100% sure.
Well, that'll be another year contract then.
So yeah, so if we can,
Yeah.
look into something like that, I think it'd be great. Then if somebody has any, questions or concerns or something, come down with each one of them.
And we've had that before with, the veteran lady from Warsaw used to come once a month, I think, up here. And she get the area vets to sign up for.
Oh. I thought about up here, but then again, I'm thinking, the stairs and stuff, it'd be better to have something down there. I was actually even thinking about reaching out to Mike Harding. I know that other office that he has is vacant, but I don't know how that would work, yeah. So,
Yeah,
if we can do it
can
this
make a
way.
combination.
good, okay, I'll let them know. All right, does anybody have anything for Doug? Moving on, any old business? New business, the only thing I have, Hans and I went down to talk about, discuss with the Joneses about the whole water issue. So, what we've come up with, Craig went with us. So they would be allowed to, it would be all at their expense, to attach a 2-inch line to the main that comes around there, not the hydrant, the main, just a 2-inch line. Then they could just run that line where they actually do their water business. That way they don't have to, we would deadfall that, eliminate that. Then they would put a hot box in or like some sort of a building that's right there where they do their, the material making. So essentially, they're getting, I believe he said up to 49 pounds of pressure right now of water, but they're getting roughly 29 because of the length of, where it goes. So this, I think Craig did the math. I think it was like 100 and they would like 200, but I think Craig did the math. Did he talk to you about this? Or did he say he's gonna-
I did hear about the whole yard hydrant in the box, all that stuff down, but I didn't hear anything about the volume there.
All right. Well, he's supposed to reach out to you, but I mean, this is something in the future. Just trying to come up with something so that the whole job thing that's there, we can put an end to it. And again, everything would be at their expense, no expense to us. So if we can do that, have a good night, ladies.
I gotta let the pup out.
So if we can look into that, would it be a possibility? Does that sound crazy?
Give them 200 pounds of pressure?
No, well, that's what they would want.
No.
But a 2-inch line, I think Craig said that it would be about 130 pounds of pressure, roughly, by doing his math.
Oh, 60 maybe?
Yeah, maybe 70 pounds?
Or
Yeah.
There's no
I
way.
mean, unless you put a pump on it.
Yeah, you'd have to.
You'd have to have a check valve and put a pump on.
Well, maybe they'd wind up
Increase
doing that.
You could have the volume off that line.
Yeah,
Definitely
two
get
inch
the
is
volume.
a lot of volume.
A lot of volume, you just won't get the pressure he's looking for.
So maybe, that'd cost up to them, not anything to do with us.
Like a little
Right now,
pump
they're
station.
running, I think it's an 1.5-inch line comes out, and then they have a 1-inch meter.
1
So-
inch meter, then it goes to a 2-inch line.
Yeah, so it's
So
totally
it's not-
reduced.
Connect it,
Reduce down and then.
then reduce back up. It's
Exactly.
not real.
Yeah.
So it would keep the dust down when they're making their product. I think it'd be a win-win situation for everybody,
Absolutely.
so. All right. Other than that, I don't know of any other new business. Oh. That's some new business.
Our youth recreation program for the summer. Roy Colton could not run it this year. So I kind of talked to a few people, and we had 2 people actually that were quite interested in it, but only one applied. Dawn Wolcott applied for it, and I think she'd be a good person to run it. So I would propose, make a motion that we hire Dawn Wolcott as our recreation director, youth recreation director for the summer. Do you know her?
Don't know. She's a sweet lady, very nice lady.
Yeah, she's works at the school. She's a teacher's assistant for a special ed teacher.
Also does photography, was it?
Yeah, she has a
Morning
photography
sun.
Wood
business. Yep.
house. Wood
Yeah, but
house.
she's going by her maiden name, Wolcott, I think.
Tim,
That's her
she was married to
maiden.
Tim. Yeah, Woodhouse is her maiden name.
Okay.
Then she was married to Tim Wolcott.
She's a nice lady.
Very, very sweet woman.
And she's knows the kids.
We only got one application anyway.
Yeah, so we didn't have to interview anybody because we only had one. The other one, she was interested in it, and she was interested in it last year, and she has not put in an application. I had in the paper about to put one in and the end date, and we didn't hear anything from her, and last year she was also late. But she mentioned it to me again, still interested. Especially she heard that Troy was not going to be around to run it. And I told her to put in an application. And apparently she's decided not to, or just forgot, or whatever. But I think out of the 2, I think probably Dawn would have been my choice to have her rather than the other lady. But I think Dawn will work out fine.
Yeah, so we got a motion to hire John Wolcott.
Got a question, Kerry?
Yeah, I have no problem who you hire, what you hire, but I think that, I'm sure a background check on this woman be to your advantage,
Oh,
just for, working with kids,
The teacher in the middle school. She's an assistant.
well,
We still do that as a normal practice. That's right now. Yeah.
Well, we can also do it with
Pending.
the
yeah,
results.
I'll amend my motion that we hire her.
if something happens, that's.
and, We go through a background check, provided that she passes that, we.
I'm sure she's 100% fine, 99%, but you don't know until, now you got a piece of paper, say, look,
Yeah, I get
what
it.
said here.
Yeah, it makes sense.
in case something does happen.
Sure.
I would second Hans's amended motion.
So all in favor?
I
Nobody opposes, including myself. Very good.
get that back to Harry.
Any other new business? So entertain a motion to approve the bank reconciliation report, from the treasurer for the month ending March 2023. Motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
I'll get the next.
All right. Yeah, I'm holding you to it. Recommend action, the village board approves the contract with Labellas for the inflow and infiltration study. I wouldn't have done this one. No.
That's not even funny.
So we got a motion.
Something else. We have a motion.
I did.
Yep,
Good.
she made the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Recommended action, the village board approves the contract with the senior citizens. You're gonna probably have to abstain.
Yes, I am.
I'll make that motion.
Is it VP here?
Yeah.
Second.
I'll vote yes. Recommend action, the village board of trustees closes the budget hearing at 8 o'clock. And adopts the tentative budget as a permanent budget for the village year of 2023-24.
Was there any questions on the budget at all? I don't know if you even got a copy.
So I got it right here. If you want, I'll give her my copy and just give. Very good job on the budget.
Thanks.
It's a good. Stayed below the.
Just that, the one thing that we might want to adjust.
Yes, that's not a problem.
What?
Speaking of which, you guys just approved the senior citizen contract. Can we make the payment in this abstract for that also?
We need
So
to make a
wait
motion for
another
that.
month to do it?
Yeah.
Would you guys mind if we did that and just, I'll make a motion in here that you approved to increase the abstract by the amount of the contract so we can pay them?
Yeah.
All right?
Should I entertain a motion for that?
Well, we just, as long as you guys agree to that,
Yeah.
you know, in open session, that's fine, I can just add it in there.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll move on the budget.
Motion? Second. If you'd rather abstain, it's up to you, but good budget. Doug did good.
Yeah,
All right, so all in
go
favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried.
The only thing that, you know, I had, when I asked, or change, when I was here to ask for more money next year.
Yeah, that'll be next year's
That
budget.
would be, well, that would be,
Oh, this one, yeah, it would be.
We can just adjust.
Oh,
it.
yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
think about that. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Good catch.
We just gotta know what you guys wanna give them first.
Right.
So we can't.
Yep. Yeah, good catch. All right, so bank reconciliation report, treasurer's report, justice report. Now, this letter, because it's, we need to speak of, because it's
What letter?
the letter from the attorney about water.
yeah.
Do we need to talk about that in
Oh.
executive session, or?
No.
I mean, I think what.
You guys already talked about it last month, Julie said.
Yeah, I think what he's laying out is what we should do anyway.
Right, just make them pay it without penalty, without the.
Yeah, just work something out, like what Gary was saying, you know, just if payments need to be made, that'd be fine too, but I think he'd be
We'd give them
just.
the option, absolutely.
Whatever the meter reads.
And the meter in the basement was correct.
Correct,
It was
yeah.
the remote one.
Right,
And I think.
which happens all the time, actually.
Yeah,
In the letter, I guess, didn't quite address that, but that's what.
yeah. I think they're both replaced, or the one that was wrong was replaced since, so.
Yeah. He just pays for what actually the meter, right, the inside
Right.
meter.
That's
Yeah,
correct.
Which that's what it shows true.
Without penalty and without.
Late fees or anything.
Have you had that discussion with him?
I haven't talked to him. I got no use for him. But Julie has, she's addressed it. But we couldn't address it with him totally until you guys talked about it.
No, we just need to know about that law that he
Correct.
All right, so, board order for council, Tom Kelsey there, I think we all agreed that it's a good thing, he's just gonna get with Doug, or get with Craig and find out the board, so. Does anybody have anything else to bring forth to the board? Ike, you got anything? Come on, you've been quiet over there, you're never quiet. Like a ninja over there.
You don't want to hear what I want to say.
Oh, I do, all the time, Mike. I love hearing what you have to say. So I entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting at 8:04.
Motion.
Have a motion? There we go. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right. He's probably sick. Just not meeting for us. We just keep it like.
Trying to sell my fire truck, I'm going to get permission.
Oh, yeah. You're distracting me.
I don't know. I don't talk.